The title of this podcast is Life is Short, Death is Sure. Man, I love this. This is a quote from Downton Abbey. There's a character in the show named Carson, Mr. Carson, and this is a quote that he gave when one of the main characters became severely ill and their survival was uncertain. And that quote just really resonated with me. I think I did a podcast. Well, I know I did a podcast several years ago when a dear friend of mine, Linda, passed away. And the podcast was titled Impermanence. And I discussed in that podcast how there was a moment, a short period of grieving for her, and she was close to me. She felt like family to me. She was so dear to me. And I remember grieving hard at her sudden death, unexpected. And that grieving was transmuted during the course of my practice, my morning practice, during the first 3 or 4 days after her passing. And what transmuted it, that grief into nothing but immense love and gratitude, was the fact that when I was with her, I was completely with her. I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't distracted. I didn't know it at the time, but I was honoring that time that I was with her. Every time we parted ways, it was always with a hug and a thank you, a mutual expression of gratitude for each other for the time that we spent together and how we contribute to each other. And that really helped. And I think it was at that moment that I really began to understand and embrace the reality of this human experience that begins with birth and will most certainly end with death. And that death part is something that we never know. We often don't know the hour or the day that that's going to come. So that thing is sure. Then my question is, for so many years, why was I not living like it was sure? And I wasn't. But now, the way that I begin my mornings, the way that I move through life throughout the entire day, practicing the principles that I've learned, the principles that help me, increase inner peace, to be an expression of love and service everywhere I go. When things happen that are outside of me, to let those go and accept the reality that's in front of me, to really work on mastering myself, my little self, Keith 1.0, so that it not only stops running my life, but it stops ruining my life. By doing those things, what I've begun to notice is that I have a deep appreciation for life and a healthy respect for the sureness of death. And every time something comes up, when I think of that, this truth about death, it's actually a gift. It helps me get back on the path. Whether I'm at work and things that are happening that are beyond my control, that I don't understand all the details of, and I find myself being pulled and caught into the drama of it, and no one else is pulling me in. I'm pulling myself in or allowing myself to fall into it. I'll come back to, man, what are you doing? Like, there are a lot of ways you can spend this moment. You're spending it that way. You must have forgot that death is sure. And that's how you want to spend it. That's how you want to spend your time. I love Rick's quote that he taught me many years ago, that whatever is going on right now that is bothering you, just remember, none of this matters, and it's all going away. And that is the truth. When I find myself on the pickleball court playing this game, whether it's outdoors or indoors with friends, or whether I'm journaling alone, I am so focused and so present, appreciative for the fitness and the ability to be able to do this activity. In the moment my mind wants to make a problem about the way that my partner plays, or how long they're taking, or they're not moving fast enough, or they made a bad line call, all of that nonsense. What are you doing? Have you forgotten that life is short and death is short? No, I'm trying hard not to forget that. And there's so many examples of it too. I'm very fortunate to work in healthcare where I work with colleagues who are caring for people, most of which are having their worst day. They are really, really having their worst day. And with illnesses that are oftentimes unexpected. And even when they are expected, I'm not sure it makes it any easier to be able to try to handle it. And the effect that all this has on their loved ones and our staff. Being that close to that reality of that aspect of the human experience has really helped me remember that life is short and death is sure. And instead of seeing it as I would as I would have many years ago before the practice, as being something that I resisted, didn't want to happen, I see it as a gift of reminding me of how to spend my time. And I hope you will use this quote that life is short, death is sure, as a reminder of how you want to spend your time. Whatever you are thinking about or doing today, whatever hardship that you are experiencing, whether it's real or made up by the mind, find a way to learn how to handle that. And sometimes handling it is simply accepting and letting go. Other times, it's working on yourself in such a way that you are at your absolute best to be able to handle the challenge that's unfolding in front of you. Whatever that is, man, don't waste your time on things that are not going to honor the truth that life is short and death is sure. If you do that, you will love more fully. You will practice more gratitude, which is always present, even when your mind tells you there's nothing to be grateful for in this moment. You have more compassion. You would enjoy and experience more inner peace. Man, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? I hope if you're not doing these things that you will. And remember, death is a friend. Death is a gift. It is a reminder that will help sharpen your commitment to being your best.